Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex
Corrupt
and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
I'm Marius Theron. I'm a farmer in the Pearston district on the farm Cranemere.
I'm Richard Hobson and I farm on the farm Jackson in Pearston.
I'm Toy Liter. I'm farm Weltevreden, Pearston area.
I'm David Hobson, farm on Redcliffe in the Pearston district.
The worst thing is to see my workers and everybody just get negative because, you know, you buy fridges, you go forward in life, everybody of us. That's what we like to do. We like to go forward. You like to watch television. You would like to have fridges and stuff like that. That previously wasn't long time ago. People had it in the countryside, you know. But as we advance, we all get cool rooms. We get roads get better. There's more solar pumps type of thing and running water in the houses. Was now all of a sudden, because we such reliable on electricity, now all of a sudden there's nothing. Now people must go back. All of us must go back to wood, collecting wood again, making fires, because there's no electricity to pump water and collect water. You can't start your fridge, you can't slaughter your sheep and keep it in your deep freeze because it go rotten. So for me, it's a negative effect on my people that works for me and everybody.
I mean, over December we had a situation where just on our farm line, there were 16 days of no power whatsoever. And people running generators, having to make a plan just for drinking water, for their staff, for their animals, you know, because you're reliant on electricity. So, yeah, it's just a knock-on effect. It starts there, and I think if you had to take the real picture of what's happening in this country, all you have to do is look at ground level. Municipal level, ground level is the real reflection of what's happening. Systems have broken down. It's just, you know, from your services, your potholes, our roads. This is just another chain of events that's just added to that breakdown.
We had a storm and the power lines fell over. I had 14 poles on my farm and 6 other poles on the neighboring farms. And when we tried to get help from the municipality, there was no help whatsoever for the first 5 days. So we were without electricity for 5 days, and then the knock-on effect is without water because our pumps couldn't run. We have 7 households on the farm, 8 if you include my own. 8 households without electricity, and then when they eventually showed up, they didn't have anything to fix it. We had to give the tractors, we had to give the materials needed to erect the lines again, and the workers as well. So we got that up and running again. I don't think it was a full month later, we had another storm and another 4 poles fell over, and it was the same scenario once again.
In the last 3 months, we haven't, half the month has been with no power, at least. That 3 phases have been running, and you know, most of us have got 3-phase pumps. So town, although there's a feeder line coming in, hasn't been as drastic, but it's been drastic enough for the pumps, for the town water, that, you know, on top of the load shedding, if you've got any other cuts, the pumps can't maintain the levels needed for, you know, to keep the pressure in the pipelines. Thank goodness we've had some rain, so everyone's got, most people have got rainwater tanks, which has actually kept the system from exposing itself really. You know, the people's patience and all of that, they've been using their tank water, but in the area we live in, you know, rain isn't an everyday occurrence, so you know, it could get a lot more serious. And, you know, take water out of the equation for people after 2 or 3 days where there's no water whatsoever, and it's a real crisis.
My workers save money throughout the year to be able to buy themselves and their families that come to visit some mutton, some sheep at the end of the year during Christmas. And there were 5 households that slaughtered the day before the line fell over. And all of those households lost all of their sheep. Rotten, they had to throw it away.
For our staff, with the extra Christmas allocation and rations, a lot of that stuff had to be discarded. They couldn't keep it, no fridges. They all got fridges. The TVs is not a big essential, but their fridges were not operating. I've got a generator which runs, and 2 jerry cans of petrol that was costing well over 920 rand. And 2 jerry cans of petrol don't last a hang of a long time when you're running a generator for hours on end. So the impact, me personally, has been electricity and all the knock-on effect of cost.
We're mainly extensive farmers. So, but the community relies on the farm. But if you don't get electricity, you can't up your production, and then you just start farming more extensive with less workers, and the town will just go more down and down.
Unfortunately, if you can't afford to irrigate as much as you used to, you'll farm more extensively, like Toy said. And unfortunately, the knock-on effect is you employ less staff because you have less income, and then the town suffers. But as a extensive area in the Karoo, extensive farming will still be viable, but probably with less irrigation.
Our big worry are the sociological conditions. We've got staff on our farms. We're very reliant on them, absolutely reliant on them. We try and look after them, and there's a whole community in Pearston. So that's where the discussion has been.
There's a high unemployment rate. People are reliant, supposedly, on grants that live here, as well as the farming community, that a lot of them have homes here, family here. One would hate to think there'd be a big move, of Pearston just becoming an absolute ghost town. I don't know.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, your teachers, your top teachers, but some of them are born and bred in Pearston. They leave Pearston to go and teach in Grafenet, Uitenhage, wherever, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, because the basic things, because of electricity and water, aren't here. Because they were actually happy, the families are here, the grandparents are here. Now our community are getting drained from the good people that's from our area.
We went to a meeting in Somerset some time ago, invited there, and, it was a municipal meeting. NERSA came down, which I thought was very encouraging, until I heard that this is their 3rd visit. So the conclusion is the first 2 visits achieved nothing, and I think the 3rd visit will also achieve nothing. All they did, they told the Blue Crane Municipality that they are not compliant with the mandate that they have to supply electricity. We all know they're not compliant, and there will be no consequences. So what chance is there of any improvement? There are no consequences. Every chance of the same lot being elected again, so there's no incentive for them to improve it. And I don't know if you play sport, but if you play tennis and you love 40 down and love 4 down, unless you change your tactic, you're going to lose. So there are no tactics being changed. The only positive thing that came out of that meeting is that the Blue Crane Route Municipality doesn't owe Eskom anything.
I don't think the people in charge, they aren't good enough. And the poor electricians, they work so hard to maintain these lines that they never at home, because they work day and night with old lines. But the people on top of them that's supposed to order the transformers and the circuit breakers and the poles, there's the problem. The people
He doesn't even live in the Blue Crane district. The main guy that's the responsible. He lives in Uitenhage, if I'm correct. So on a Friday he gets into his car and he leaves for the weekend, and he doesn't care what happens over the weekend, and he pitches on Monday morning and you can't get a hold of him. So it's just a big mess.
Let's get back to figures. It came out that the Blue Crane Route gets 150 million rand income from the sale of electricity, of which this is now a very round figure, about 110 goes to Eskom to pay for the electricity, the bulk electricity. of which leaves about 40 million, call it profit or call it whatever, the over, surplus, of which a little bit more than 1 million rand gets used for maintenance. It's about 1.6% of what's available. So the backlog of maintenance has accumulated over years. That's why it's so difficult to, with the present setup, to ever get it right. I mean, how are they ever going to, with those figures, going to get the system, the infrastructure, up and running?
That's why the whole community of Pearston got together. As you know, we all had got together and given papers to NERSA to get everybody involved. And it was quite peaceful, as you know, it was about 2 weeks ago. So everybody trying to work together to motivate them to do a change to the lines and to everything and uplift and give us chance to help them as a community. Because a lot of the farmers and the community people in town are willing to help the municipality, even if to digging holes or to get lines up and running again or whatsoever, or donate extra money just to help the whole process to be better. So we hope that we get a green light from NERSA that we can assist, because actually you're not supposed to, the locals can't just help and work on a line. That's not how it's done. You must work through the municipality.
You know, there's no one here to fix our roads. We get all sorts of excuses saying the budget or whatever it is, and the graders don't come. We end up fixing our own roads, and then when you start fixing your own roads, they stay away even more. Same with electricity. I don't want to have to start working on our lines and do that. It may be an emergency to get things up and running, but it's certainly not our responsibility. We pay for that. You pay availability charges. You pay for your electricity.
You know, you can go solar, maybe not for your whole farm or for your whole members of your whole staff, your laborers, because it's just too expensive. So then you start getting a guilt feeling because you're doing it for yourself. And that's not right, because we would like everybody to be treated the same, have the same opportunities. Fridges can work, everything can work, have running water in the houses, and now it's, do you feel like all of a sudden you feel that's not good, you know, because you're like, and that's bad for me. The negative impact that I can see, it's got, you know, my workers and everybody around me are suffering because of no electricity and that with the water and the rest that goes with it.
Sure, Richard. The dream in the big picture is that things will heal, that way of life will improve.
Our dream is to see Pearston just revive. People move in, electricity, water, that's it.
My dream is to continue farming in South Africa.
My dream is to raise my children in a healthy environment and where they can thrive.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.